I got close to wanting to quit was in Hell Week on Wednesday night. One of the instructors was like, all right, here's how to work. You guys come up, you tell the funniest story you've ever told in your life, and then you stay up as long as the next person's story isn't funnier than yours. And I got beat up by a one-armed midget. Some kid that was like 5'5", whose arm was in a sling, knocked me out because I thought I was so tough. Well, one time I got close to wanting to quit was in Hell Week on Wednesday night, and
What
and
was it?
we had, first off, when we started, like it was bizarre. It was like an omen, right? It was the Friday before the Sunday. We were all lined up on a grinder, and Admiral Smith came in and went down the line and inspected the boat crews or whatever. And he came to ours, and he's standing in front of his son. And his other brother was a SEAL too, and he looks at us and goes, "Sir, is your boat crew ready?" "Yes, sir." The whole thing. "Oh yeah, sir." And it was just a cool moment between a father and a son, and I was really proud to be with these guys. I mean, they were so strong, like so strong, and so capable, and you felt, that feeling. You feel stronger with them, like you can do more. And he looked around and he said, looked at the instructors. He said, "All right, guys, all right, instructor staff, I would like you to take it easy on this boat crew for me." Essentially, just like light them up,
Yeah.
light them up. I did. We did. What do you call it? Two steel piers. We did, like, in breakout, we lost two guys, quit immediately, and they didn't reorder our boat crew for almost like 24 hours. We only had five guys. And they just leaned into us, and nobody broke. And it was just incredible. Like, everybody got stronger and stronger and stronger. And like Bing, remember Bing, man, he was just like, had that look, just angry, like always just pissed. You and he remind me a lot of each other, and but like nothing was gonna break him, and he'd just look at you, and you'd want to like do more, like get your hands under the boat or under the log or whatever it was, and they were all. And then Rob was always just smiling, and just you work. But it was Wednesday night. We had done. Uh, um, we had done boat passage, and it was an El Nino year.
What's boat passage?
Where you paddle out past, you dump the boats, flip them back in, and come out, right? Surf passage, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it was an El Nino, and so it was like 20, 25-foot waves. It was the biggest surf in 10 years that California had seen. And the instructors were like, send them out, right? And when you talk about a yard sale, there were boats and chem lights and dudes in water for like a mile spread out wild. People were getting nuts. And we had a couple of guys in our boat crew that surf. So I grew up surfing, and Adam had surfed, and some other guys. And so we just got lucky. We timed a set and we got out. And we're out there and we're like, all right, how do we hide our chem lights so we don't have to go back in, right? And then Adam's like, nope, let's go, flip it over. And so we're going in, and I was three-man port side, and we're going, and I think, all right, we're timing the set, and that boat just starts going up and up and up and up, and that wave just went like that and just threw the boat once it was breaking. And I remember being, I don't know, 20 feet in the air or whatever it was, and Rob was like 10 feet below me. Guys are in the air. Remember, don't lose your paddle. Don't lose. All I could think about was not that I'm going to fall on my buddies beneath me, or the boat's going to land on me or drive. All I could think was about, don't let go of my paddle. Don't let go of my paddle. And we hit, and obviously the train wreck, the next following sets hit you. And I remember coming up, and I'm going to die right now. It was so big and so aggressive, and it was chaos. And you couldn't see anybody's chem light because, you got those old K-pox that are strangling you, and your helmet, and you just like, don't lose. All I could think, don't lose my paddle. Like, I didn't even think start swimming inshore, right? And finally, figured out, got into shore. And apparently at that point, one of the senior instructors had been like, maybe we ought to not send him out there anymore, right? Because dudes were just quitting. And finally we got together. They brought us in, they stopped, and then we went down and did Chiefs Beach. And at Chiefs Beach, they do this thing, and they build this big bonfire, right? And you sit around on the edge of the bonfire, and the way it worked, they made it sound, this was before, I think right after Mid Rats, and one of the instructors was like, all right, here's how to work. You guys come up, you tell the funniest story you've ever told in your life, and then you stay up as long as the next person's story isn't funnier than yours, right? And so I was like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, right? Because I've got some funny stories. So it started, and they were good, and some dudes would last two guys. Now, when you're there, when you're in the line, you're just far enough away from the flame where you can't really feel it, like you might, like a window blow and you feel a little bit, but you're still wet, and you're just jackhammering the whole thing. But if you're there next, you're right in front of the fire next to the instructor. So I'm like, that's it. If I can stay up there, tell the best story I've ever told in my life, that'll be it. And so it was my turn, and there were some dudes that were hilarious in that class. I mean, hilarious people, like funny as hell. And so it's my turn. I get up and I tell this funny story about a big bad wolf mask, a disco ball, and a girl I knew in college, right? And it was like everybody's laughing, like it's laughing their brains out. And of course, I extended the story. So it's like a 20-minute story. So now I'm starting to feel dry. It kills. The instructors are laughing. My hands are starting to dry. I'm starting to dry off in my face. I stopped shaking for the first time since Sunday night. And I think I went like 5 or 6 dudes. And so in that moment, like now my boots dried. I could feel my feet for the first time. And I got comfortable. And I forgot where I was. And then a dude got up and told, hilarious story. Everybody was laughing. And the instructor looks over at me and goes, what are you laughing at, Rutherford? And I'm like, huh? And he's like, go hit the surf. And that did it. Like I hit that freezing cold surf, and it broke me. And I was like, I can't go back out there. Like, I can't do it. So I hit the surf. I'm jackhammering again. Then something happened. Next thing you know, an instructor was pissed at us, made us surf tortured. We're in there getting surfed, and they're just screaming at us, and the waves are huge. And I'm holding arms with Adam, and I look, and I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm gonna quit. I can't do this. There's no way. I can't go to combat. I can't. I don't have what it takes for this. I can't even stay mentally engaged, when I'm dry, how am I going to go to combat? And it just spiraled. And God bless that man. He saved my career. He was like, dude, don't quit. He's like, wait until you're done with this. And then we'll quit. And I'll never forget, like right after that, he'd talk some stuff, just get through this. And then if you want to quit, I'll let you quit. And right after that, Braveheart had come out around then sometime. I forget when it was. But one of our senior officers, he's one of the toughest, best dudes I've ever met in my life, this guy, Tom, he screams, freedom. And the whole class like got hard. And then we just powered through it and made it through. And I was on top of the world. Like I just went through the hardest thing in my entire life, and with these men, and they didn't quit, and they didn't let me quit. I was like, this is where I want to be. And that was a powerful moment for
Who was your first call after Hell Week?
me. The whole context in the teams is like the premise of being the violence of action. If you can be violent like that, Like that's a standard of your reputation. And I remember, I mean, dude, if you, like, I was not that kid, didn't know how to fight. I mean, there were twice in college I got knocked out. One time I went to visit Chris Miller at Denison and I got beat up by a one-armed midget. Some kid that was like 5'5", whose arm was in a sling, knocked me out because I thought I was so tough. Like, and just knocked me, and I fell down the hill, broke my nose. I was just not that guy. I wasn't tough. I didn't know how to be tough. I didn't know what tough was. And so you get in, you're surrounded by these dudes that are just animals, man, and they're all tough. And so it's like, all right, I gotta be tough. I gotta get into bar fights, and I gotta drink a lot, and I gotta train hard, and I gotta steam all night and train hard all day. And you are sucked into that. And I think there's a requirement about it that's a necessity. Like you want that. You're trying to, but it's very difficult, the management of that, because how human beings respond to that type of imprinting is not always 100% predictable, especially when there's a proponent of, there's a presence of sociopathology that's existent, right? That's who they're recruiting. They want people that have these types of tendencies that can be programmed or manipulated into this space where violence it holds a premium in your personality. And we do that very well, very well. And so I think without war going on, where else are you able to disseminate? You come off 3 straight weeks on a training trip, you're shooting guns all day, you're kicking doors, you're blowing stuff up, and you come home and what do? Like, oh, I'm going to go to Bible class, or I'm going to just like go to the beach and relax. No, it's like, let's go, let's go down to Fibber McGee's, or let's go down, to Mission Beach, or let's go down to the Gaslight and let's just see how many fights we can get in. Right. And that's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's tough. Like you're having to manage this expectation. And that's, for me, I didn't have the confidence to pull back and be like, I don't want to do that.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.